Let's see. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of today, and that is the leaks. Oh my gosh, the leaks as we are nearing some release dates. We'll start with AMD in the Ryzen 7 7700X. That is their up-and-coming 5nm 6-core processor. Has been tested in Cinebench R20.
Ooh.
Now, Cinebench, as much as Intel may say it's not, is pretty much a universal test of a CPU's general speed, whether it's single-threaded or multi-threaded. Yes, it uses specific AVX workloads, but those AVX workloads translate into raw performance that you would normally see out of the instruction sets of a particular CPU. So that's why we use it as a great, exact, and repeatable test. Now, there's been a battle over Cinebench since, AMD started beating Intel to who could get the best score. And for years, Intel kind of dominated that. I mean, we all know that when it came to single-threaded performance, AMD was out of the game for quite a long time, really as long as Cinebench has been around. And in 2017, they launched Ryzen, and multi-threaded became competitive almost immediately, and in fact changed the high-end desktop market and changed the multi-core market pretty much forever. And then with Zen Plus, they got a little closer, and then with Zen 2, a funny thing happened. They started being only a couple percent behind in single-threaded performance, and only from the top tier, like the 9900Ks of the world. If you got an i3 9400, guess what? That tops out at 3.4 gigahertz. Well, the AMD 3600 didn't care. It would turbo as high as it wanted to.
Right.
So, on went this back and forth battle. Well, AMD seems to be taking the most recent shot as they are purportedly getting ready to launch the Ryzen 7 7700X, as well as the other chips from their Zen 4 lineup. And it is reported by Extreme Player to have a 20% IPC improvement. I don't know how much longer AMD can keep this up, because
I know.
They went 18, 18, and now 20 in back-to-back generations. That's insane. And this is kind of the chart that puts it all into perspective. There's also a leaked Intel i7 13700K, which is a top-flight Intel single-threaded chip, scoring an 814 on R20 single-threaded. But then you have the 7700X scoring a 773. So again, just a couple percentage points behind, but thoroughly dominating the 5950X, which is AMD's current 16-core big dog CPU. That's extreme. Impressive. Yeah, and man, I'm glad the gigahertz race is back on too. I missed this from
it's always exciting.
2001.
Yeah, well, especially you get bragging rights, and you get better competition with better pricing, more innovation, all that kind of stuff. It's good. When
there's competition, we win.
Yes,
because prices go down and innovation goes up. So, yeah. Anyway, Hot Chips took place over the last couple of days. Lots of announcements out of that, but this was the interesting bit from AMD that really hadn't been seen before. We had already seen some basic core and thread counts from their upcoming CPU launch, which they will officially unveil on August 29th, which is just 5 days from today. Moving on, there's a leak of 13th generation Intel Raptor Lake CPUs as far as pricing goes. And this one, I'm not sure how accurate this one is. So this comes from a Canadian leakster. And prices start at 423 Canadian dollars and go up to 940. That's 326 and 735 actual dollars. Sorry, Canadian friends. But starting with the 13600KF, which I really wish they would just get off the Core branding and rename their lineup, because 5 digits and two alphas at the end.
2 alphas, yeah.
Is just stupid.
It's just getting maddening.
Yeah. 9900K. What are they going to do next? They're going to go back to the, do we finally get Pentium 5? Like, I'm waiting for that. I still want my P5. No, we went to 10900K. It's like, oh, that makes no sense, but okay. $326 for their 6-core entry. They've got I say 6-core. Let's scroll down the list. 6-core performance, 6 performance and 4 efficiency cores. 6 cores and 8 efficiency. Most of the CPUs have efficiency cores except for the very bottom end, 4-core, 4-thread, i3. Yeah. Look at this. Look at that CPU all the way down there at the bottom. A measly 12 megabytes of cache. 4 performance cores, 0 efficiency cores. It's only 65 watts, and it is overclockable. But why is that even a thing? Because the next step up,
I don't know.
Because the next step up is 6 performance cores and 4 efficiency cores. So it's a 6-core, 16-threaded CPU versus 4 cores and 8 threads.
Yeah, just might as well spend a little bit extra money, get that.
And it's still overclockable. I don't get it. Anyway, going all the way up to their big dog of the 13900 series, of which there are 4. There's the K, the F, the KF, and the nothing. And
the KFU.
Yeah. So they have either a 65 watt or a 125 watt TDP, depending on if it's overclockable or not. Obviously, these CPUs are going to use a lot more than the 65 watts, even without overclocking. That is their top-end base frequency. But 8 performance cores and 16 efficiency cores. So that is a 24-core, 32-threaded chip, if I did my math right. So quite an interesting design, quite an interesting thing to be able to say. And that price is going to be $735, which puts it squarely in the sights of the 5950X and potentially the 7950X, the 16-core, 32-thread chips from AMD. Now, if we scroll down a little bit, they also have some purported AMD pricing of $893 US for the 7950X. That again is a 16-core, 32-thread, so it doesn't have as many actual cores, but it has the same number of threads. Now, Intel has been pulling away slightly in their multi-threaded benchmarks as of late because of the use of those efficiency cores, which don't clock nearly as high, but they also draw a lot less power. So it's going to be interesting to see this generation where these 2 chips land, and not just those 2 chips, but all the way down the stack, of where they land in both multi-core and single-threaded performance. Is there a benefit one way or the other, or does it really depend on the individual tier that you're buying from? So lots and lots of fun benchmarking and results coming up probably within the next 3 to 4 weeks. So exciting time for tech.